Hello, my mathematicians. Today we are looking at we're looking at module 15, lesson 3, which is all about assessing reasonableness of products. Hopefully by the end of this lesson, you'll be able to assess the reasonableness of the product of a decimal, less than 1, and a whole number. To spark your learning, it says Rosalind's school is holding a math fun fair. One of the games is a sorting game with a numerical expression shown. So you have 8 times 45 hundredths, 8 times 6 tenths, 6 times 81 hundredths, 8 times 52 hundredths, 8 times 8 tenths, 4 times 99 hundredths, 8 times 49 hundredths, and 4 times 9 tenths. So sort the numerical expressions. So we want to know which ones are greater than 4 and which ones are less than 4. Now, I could multiply them all out and sort them that way. Or I could think, well, 8 times 1/2 or half of 8 is 4. And so I know that if my decimal is less than a half, it is going to be greater than 4. Or sorry, I said that backwards. If no, I said if it is less than 4 or less than a half, it is going to be less than 4. If it's greater than 4, it's going to be less. Like we're starting with the first one, the 8 times 45 hundredths. That is going to be less than 4. 8 times 6 tenths. 6 tenths is greater than a half, so it is going to be greater than 4. Then we have 6 times 81 hundredths. Well, 6 times a half would be 3. 6 times 75, or 6 times 66 hundredths would be 4, so it's greater than that. So 8 times 52 hundredths is going to be greater than 8 times 8 tenths. 8 tenths is greater than a half, so we have 4 times 99 hundredths. Well, 4 times 1 would be 4, so that's going to be less. 8 times 49 hundredths, so 49 hundredths is less than a half, so it's going to be less than 4. Then we have 4 times 9 tenths. 9 tenths is less than 1, so it's going to be less than 9, or less than 4. Okay, it says one of the prizes at the Math Fun Fair is erasers. The value of each eraser is 77 cents. There are 8 erasers on the prize table. Joni says the value of 8 erasers is greater than $6. How is she able to make this claim? Is her claim reasonable? So, did Joni give an exact value or an estimate for the 8 erasers? Well, she's saying that will be greater than 6, so that would be an estimate. So it says decimals and fractions both name fractional parts of a whole. It is often easier to calculate using fractions rather than decimals. Complete the number line to show the decimal equivalents of some common fractions. So 1/4 or a quarter is 25 hundredths. 1/2 or 50 hundredths. 3/4 or 3/4 would be 75 hundredths. Then it says, to which decimal is 7700ths closest? Well, it would be closest to 7500ths. And then it says, what fraction is equivalent to 7500ths? Well, if we look here, it is 3/4. So it says, use the fraction to find the value of 8 erasers. Show your work. Well, if we do 8/1 times 3/4, we get 24/4, which equals 6. So that gives us $6. And it says, how does 7700ths compare to 7500ths? Well, 7700ths is greater than 7500ths. So is Joni's claim reasonable? And we're going to say yes, because eight times 7500ths equals 6, and 7700ths is greater than 7500ths. 8 times 7700ths has to be greater than 6. So, at another math fun fair booth, a player chooses a digit from 1 to 9, spins the wheel, and multiplies the two numbers. If the product is greater than or equal to the digit, the player wins a prize. So, Taylor chooses the digit 4 and spins the number 7/10. Does she win a prize? How do you know? So, it's going to be no, because she is multiplying by a number less than 1. So no, because 4 times 1 equals 4, and 7/10 is less than 1. Is there any digit Taylor could have chosen for a spin of 7/10 results in her winning a prize? Why? Well, no, for the same reason. No, the product of any number and 7/10 will always be less than that number. Just for what other numbers on the wheel will Taylor not win a prize? So it would be any number less than 1. So 5/10, 6/10, 8/10, and 9/10. Which numbers on the wheel result in Taylor winning a prize? It would be any number 1 or greater. So 1, 1 and 1/10, 1 and 2/10, 1 and 3/10, 1 and 4/10. And that is all for today's lesson. Hopefully you're now able to assess the reasonableness of the product of a decimal less than 1 and a whole number. And remember, in order to be a math person, all you have to do is be a person and do math.